Whatever, it's my time.
That's the start of the video. That is the start of the video. Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of the Do You Podcast series, where I'm inviting special individuals on to talk about their journey, where they are now, and more importantly, how they got to be where they are now. And I would love to introduce Ben. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, man.
No, man, this has been really nice and fantastic to catch up with you and see you.
Isn't it?
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I reckon it was 2019. No, 2020, I reckon. The very start. It's been a long, long time.
And that would have been at
That studio. Yeah.
Right.
It's good to see you.
Oh, fucking mate, it's great to see you. It's great to see everything that you're doing online. All right, sweet. So, fill the audience in on where you are now, what you're doing, and then we're going to rewind and start telling the story of how you got to where you are now.
Cool. Yeah. So where I am now, I run a company called Dreamer Studios. Multimedia production is really what I call it. I kind of focus on 5 main things: so videography, photography, digital marketing, web design, and audio production. It's bloody awesome. It's great. I love it. It's a creative outlet. It's a business. It's a passion. It's like my whole life. It encompasses everything of who I am and what I do, and I love it. And it's sick.
Love that. So I think like one of my questions that I always like to ask with someone like yourself is like, where did it all begin? Like what, for me, why I started the production company is because I took a bunch of GoPros to Vietnam and I just filmed everything. So for you, like, because I know you more so for the music side of things, where did the videography, the photography, more of the digital come from?
Yeah, I remember at the start of high school, like year 7, year 8, I used to make videos on Windows Movie Maker, and I had a camera, but I just would like put together other people's things. I remember I had some like science project, and you had to talk about like renewable energy or something, and I made this video to a U2 song, and it was epic, but I got an F because it was irrelevant. It was just like, you didn't have to make a video. It was just talk about renewable energy. And I made this video and it was like wind, fire is not renewable. I don't know, whatever, water. And it was like all this cinematic footage and it was cool. And I used to make all these videos and then started filming some as I got like towards the end of high school. But it was never anything that I thought was going to be like a part of my life. I just kind of did it. Music, on the other hand, was like everything. I loved music and I wanted to be like a famous musician and all of that kind of thing. And then the two kind of fused together over time, I suppose. And they're both creative and they both relate to each other quite a lot as well. And there's a lot of what I've learned in music that I apply to video production and the other way around, and just marketing in general.
What would that be? What?
It would be the storytelling component. Yeah. That's what really gets me going, is just telling a good story. I think that's why my music career has hit a shocking failure and abrupt halt, because I tell stories and, my songs can't go for less than 8 minutes, and that seems to not be the way that it goes these days. But it's interesting, a story is everything. It's everything. It's everything that we have. It's everything that we are. And I love telling a story. And so marketing is a story. A video is a story. A 5-second reel is a story. And a song is a story. So they kind of all fuse together, I suppose. Yeah. In an odd way.
Yeah. That's having that skill set, or having the ability to be able to like tell a story, just like you said, even if it's in a short form reel or at an 8-minute, long song. I think it's so important to be able to bring that to, your content. I think just in general, like just being able to showcase how, what you're experiencing. I think it's a nice ability to have.
It's interesting in video production. I wonder if you see this, but my thoughts on social media and social media, I hate. I actually don't like it at all, but I do it as a job.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's because it's so easily faked, and for someone like you would be able to pinpoint that it's fake immediately, and you're like, well, this is just crap. But for some reason, it seems to sort of work for some people online.
I think we're spending so much time now, like we spend so much time online that it's kind of like, that relationship that we had with what the sort of the real world used to be like. So now everything is of a digital nature. So it's, I think when people first came out, you'd be like, oh man, stop talking, stop pretending. Whereas now it's like you fucking doom scroll for, 3-4 hours and you're just consistently seeing the same individual. Yeah. Like everybody's an influencer and everybody's like showcasing all of these different, I don't know, like their stuff, but it's this same, being able to create their personality behind a story.
Yeah, absolutely. It's flooded. It is flooded with like fakeness, and I think a reason that music, like my sort of music career, it's still going, but it's not like it's not as big as I thought it perhaps would have been. Is because I'm not good enough, but I can't. I feel like to be a really, prominent musician or whatever you want to call it, you have to have your digital media presence is almost more important than your music. And I tried that for a bit and it just felt so fake. Like I just couldn't, it just didn't feel right. I couldn't be, I'm not cool, I'm a loser online. I just like post what I post, I do what I do, and I just can't do it any other way. And it's interesting looking at other people and just the internet in general, because so much of it, you're just like, what are you doing? No one talks like that. No one thinks like that. But yet you're killing it.
Yeah. I think everybody just plays into the algorithm now.
It's a bit of a game sometimes.
Yeah. It's just, the more you post, and if you get caught on one of your tracks lands on like a TikTok song or someone fucking creates a dance to then it's irrelevant what the music was, but it's trending because everybody needs to dance to this one song, regardless of whatever it sounds like, because I need to just keep up with everybody around me with useless content.
Yeah.
That makes millions of fucking dollars.
Yeah. And I think like what you do is I admire very much because it's awesome and it's real and you're invested in what you're filming and you're also very good at it, which is a great formula.
Yeah, appreciate that. So, well, but at the same time, like vice versa, you're the like we were talking about before, the content, the video that you made of A Guide to Vietnam, and just generally coming across like I'm just going to present how I want, how I like, and it's not gonna I think one thing starting this or like working my way into this digital content is like not everybody is gonna like your stuff, yeah. And it was like we were talking about before, it was like not knowing what your style is, yeah. Like I didn't know what my style was, and I didn't know how to present. I was only making stuff for the market, just like the TikTok stuff, yeah. Everybody's just making these dance videos, but I think once you you go, you wind it back and you sit down, you're like, no man, like just what do you like to make, what is it that you like to do, and then create that, and then I think it always going to bring in the people that want to work with.
That's right, spot on. It'll get you to where it will get you to, because it's a natural process.
And not only that, it's unique. You know, like I think it plays into our favor, because, you know, if everybody out there is just wanting the same stuff, that's cool. But, you know, you'll always have those clients that come in, they're like, no, I like how you shoot, or I like your personality, or, you know, that video of you on the boat, you know, that's what they're going to resonate with that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's been interesting doing this full time, because it hasn't taken much for the filter to narrow to the people that I connect with, because they have the same values as what we're talking about. And it's very easy to see who doesn't. So that's been very interesting and very cool, because I love every single thing I do. I love working. I love learning something new. I love working with other people. I love creating story, because it's all for the right. It feels right, you know. Really. And people that don't do it that way, it's very admirable. I don't understand how you do it, though. It's a bit weird. Like people that are just, I don't know, it just like, I don't know, just
they just shoot cool things.
Yeah,
and it just looks cool.
It does look cool.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like it's like there's a lot of. I tried to get into the car scene, and when I was watching all the content out there, it was just kind of like cars going like flicking back and forth and like circles, and I'm like,
it's pretty cool.
It looks cool. But like, how many of those videos are you gonna watch?
Yeah,
you know, it's like I was working with this one guy, and you know, looking back, I'm like, I wish I had to dive more into his story, because like when people start to talk about their hobbies and their passions and why they like whatever it is that they're doing, you know, us for our creativity and the video stuff and everything else. But then, you know, you've got builders, and, you know, some part of them really likes the construction industry and the development behind that. So it's, you know, not being scared to tell your story, because there's someone out there that, you know, storytelling, like you said in the beginning, it's forever going to be a part of our life.
Well, it's the only thing you have, really.
Yeah,
and everyone has one. And yeah, sometimes it might not be the job that they're in, or, you know, the current situation that they're in, but there's something that you just get them talking, and there's a spark, and you see it in their eyes. You're like, that's cool. I like that. I want to film that.
Have you once when you dive into trying to get someone's story out of them, do you have like a process that you go into, you know, trying to develop that with them? Or do you just sit down and naturally you just let them talk and note down a couple of dot points?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit awkward talking about yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think it's, and what I want to know is, I feel like it's somewhat of a little bit of a talent to be able to get that information out of people. Because, you know, there are people that love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
But then you have you know, like we were saying, Elon Musk, it's hard to get the information.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I guess the only way I can sort of think about everything that I am doing, or the business and all that, is just from every experience I've had in life has led to this moment. So I was a tour guide for a long time around Australia, in every state. And as a tour guide in a day tour, you have about 15 seconds to build rapport with someone, because you're dealing with 20 people who might not speak English, from all corners of the world, with whatever story they have and whatever history they have and whatever the reason they're there. And you greet them, you get them on the bus, and then you're driving, and they're in like your hands for the day. So it's like, I don't know if I've learned this, but I just somehow was able to just make people feel like, oh yeah, I like that guy. Like, somehow, I don't know.
Well, you have a warm aura to you. And your smile can light up a room. So don't be sitting there going, I don't know what these guys don't like me.
No.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's just like, the amount of times that, and I would use the same thing sometimes, but, you know, people will like can I sit in this seat? And I'm like, no, get to the back. I'm like, what are you doing? Come on, what are you asking that? We're on holiday. Who gives a shit? And then they're like, oh, cool. All right, cool. This guy's sick. And then they feel good. So I don't know. I just, every time I talk to someone, it feels awkward for me sometimes, but I never feel like it's overly difficult to just like get someone talking, because essentially you just ask them a question and then they just talk.
I've always found like, not always, but I'm learning the skill like of asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And it was like I said before, you know, for someone, this is what I'm trying to, you know, make as my career. I don't watch any movies. You know, I don't watch like I'll watch like a documentary here and there.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that trying to like craft that skill set to become better. So
yeah, well, you know, it's interesting, like the process against creativity. So if you like asking me, you did, when you asked me my process of like talking to people, I don't know, just kind of talk to them and whatever. But it could definitely be better, and developing a skill set of the right questions that is probably a good thing that I shouldn't jot down.
Yeah, because I agree. You know, you just get the ball rolling. You get those questions starting to answer. You get those right questions to ask. But what I'm learning now, it's kind of like, right, I need to be more diligent with how I'm approaching these, because I think that the more that we're going down, like, you know, because I also love the storytelling. That's what I think is most important when it comes to any video. It's kind of like, what is the purpose I'm trying to show to the audience? And one thing that I need to start doing, or I'm more sort of conscious about it, is like, all right, cool. You know, there is a general sort of way in which that you can get information out of someone, starting to, you know, document how I'm getting those questions, or how I'm like, I always like it when, you know, you listen to a really good documentary, or you listen to, you know, a good podcast or something, and it's almost like you've got your questions, but then if they answer it in certain ways, you can pivot, like move around them. And that's something that I'm like trying to develop more, because I feel like the more that you can unpack someone's story, the less work you have to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Creativity, you know, like we don't have to add in, you know, cinematic movie, fucking 4K footage in the background or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's a flow, right? It just flows. And it's what makes us human. Just talking to someone, they're like, oh yeah, he's all right. And then it leads to something pretty incredible. That's kind of the process.
That's cool. What story recently, or do you have a favorite story, or is there a story that's played out, or has there been a series of stories that you've put together and you're like, that was something really amazing?
I think there's not one. I've been very fortunate to be able to travel a lot, and travel is kind of the sort of sector I'm going into, or I'm sort of into. And there's plenty of times where I've been somewhere, and whether it was someone new coming to that spot, or someone that like looked after that spot, like a ranger, or there's one I did for a ranger in WA, and it, like, something about the concept of like feeling like you have responsibility to look after that bit of land was like a really cool thing to see, and just follow this dude around in this massive area with no one around, and just like doing a little bit to make it look better. That was awesome. Living in Tasmania, that happened like every day. That's some of the tour videos I put together. You know, I've been to those spots before, but you go on a hike and you get around a corner and you know there's like the most incredible view coming, and you just like turn the camera back to their face and you see it. And it's happened so many times with kangaroos. And someone overseas sees a kangaroo for the first time and they just like like, I don't know. They're just like, what the hell? It's like, it's such a beautiful little moment. So there's not one story, I don't think. It's just like the collection of that. And on a that's sort of personal bias thing, but even just like doing a real estate video, sometimes I break it down, I'm like, this is actually very, very cool because someone's buying a house. Not to get too philosophical or whatever, but it's like,
but there's
that's a cool story.
Yeah.
And real estate videos can sometimes be a little bit like to film because it's like, here's a kitchen top.
But I mean,
cool.
like, so we were,
yes. Sorry.
No, I was going to say was that like when there is a real estate agent there is a story behind it, like but that's relying on other people to come to the table with this vision where if you can tell the story of, but it doesn't matter what it is, like
it becomes someone's home, and that's pretty sick. A lot of shit happens in your home.
Yeah, this is your forever home. Like, buying this thing, you just started a family, whatever.
I did a real estate video like 9 months ago, and then about 3 months ago I was doing another one, and the guy's house for the second one, he just bought the first one. So that was like the first time that I was like, oh shit, my like work, you saw it, then you decided to go see the house, and now you're like living there, you're moving there with your family. Oh, that's cool. That felt cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Like you connected someone to their forever home.
Yeah,
through
some bullshit video of a pool table. But I
mean,
it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah, cool.
I think if everybody could see, I think everybody knows. I just don't think that it's hard. It's hard to get that out of someone. It's hard to, if we come to the table and like you and I could tell a story of, this floor paneling, because we'd just be able to see it in a different light,
The tour guide's best asset is so you can bullshit anything.
Yeah. I think that's, when you brought that up, because when I working at the motorbike shop in Vietnam, like having that constant turnover of customers every single day, and just having to talk to a wide range of people, and listen to everybody's stories. I think that's like, I never looked at it from that point of view to be like, you don't look at that. You don't look back at that and go, oh yeah, that was a skill set that I got from that.
It all flows. It all encompasses into you, but it can be very unconscious, very subconscious, whatever the word is. Like, you out of the motor, were you doing like repairs at the motor? Is selling shit?
Yeah. So we traveled. I moved over there with one of my best mates. We rode motorbikes for like 9 months up and down the country, wherever. And then he was working at the motorbike store. And before he left, the owner was like, "Oh, would you either of you want to come back?" And my mate opened up a bar, and I was like, "Fuck it, why not?" Because I didn't know anything about motorbikes.
Yeah,
I'd learned everything on the job.
Yeah.
From that, now it's like, you look back, you connect the dots, the storyline, like being able to, because I made videos for them as well. So like unpackaged, that creativity and people like just from a macro point of view, that's a fucking like story, it's like, everybody's got their, and what we were, talking about before, it's like making more content about like who we are and where we came from, like the whole point of this.
Yeah.
It's just, because I think there's people out there that were maybe in our shoes like 8 years ago, and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like,
no, yeah. Well, if you are like that, you'll have something. There's something, if you've got the creativity bug, or whether creativity is innate or some people have it more than others, I don't know. But if you are interested in this field of life, in creating something visually creative, you've got it. You've got it in you. But you might not know that. So just do it.
Well, I think that yes, just do it. Yes, get it out, do it. But what you said before, the essence of being able to like unpack that more is to experience more. Like the more that you've like traveled and you've moved around and you've been here and you've done that and you've got, you know, all of those different tales have like formed like who you are today, just like anybody, you know, but I'm just saying that like your creativity has been formed. So if anybody is like, oh, I don't know, you know, I've got this urge to make movies, it's like, okay, cool, go travel for 6 months and take a camera.
Yeah.
And just try and like document what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If you can, and if you can't, there's always something you can do. And I found when I decided to sort of take this seriously, my first thing was like, all right, what can I actually do right now? And what I can do is take a camera or my phone or like whatever camera I have, even if it's $100 thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just take it and go do something and film. And it's incredible now. I mean, I'm still very new to this, but it's incredible to see how much of doing that has led to something else happening. And all you can do is just do stuff. Just do it. And something will happen. Something will come of it. It's another experience. And then it leads to something awesome, you know?
We, I'm going to say, not having any formal training. Yeah. Like just going, grabbing it and going and doing, you know, I feel like when I was like, okay, let's try and do this. Yeah. I'm like, do I need to go to school for this? Like, is there like I didn't know what I was meant to, if I needed to go get a piece of paper or like, especially, you know, going to film school or whatever. How is that? I mean, like you've kind of mentioned it, like just to go out and doing it, but as you've progressed further now, running the business and, you know, tackling larger challenges, you know, how are you kind of upskilling yourself, or is it just experiencing?
Whenever I search for like how to do something, usually editing based, but you know, how to shoot at sunset or how to do this or how to add an animation or something. I mean, YouTube is unbelievable. It is absolutely extraordinary. So I get pretty much everything from YouTube. But then I started looking more into the people that make those kind of videos. And it turns out, or from what I can tell, pretty much everyone is a fraud.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't know. No, they have no idea. They just made a very good and informative video about how to do a task, which I really needed to know how to do because I have no idea. But they're not. I mean, they're just a person who's doing it. And you could probably make it, and I could probably make it, and people would be like, wow, you're such an expert.
Yeah.
And I mean, personally, no way. I got no idea. But that's how I kind of learned everything. Really, just YouTube. Like constantly. Constant, every day, looking at something, looking at how someone else does the same thing, trying it yourself. And I guess like it is sort of like there is a purity to videography because it either looks shit or it looks good in a very broad way. And I'm quite a harsh judge of myself. So I'll film something and I'll be like, nah, it's just not right. Why is it not right? There's so many times where an error has come up, but I don't actually know like what the nomenclature is of the issue.
Like what?
Like, I mean, back at the start, like ISO. I don't know what the fuck ISO is.
Yeah.
It's just it's 100 or more, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was like, I would be like, oh, it looks grainy. Why is it grainy? And I would just search like, why is it grainy?
Yeah.
And, you know, it would just like lead you somewhere. or like, what was another one that happened recently? Like, with like, I've been doing like a lot of animation stuff, like on Adobe After Effects, and there's like trying to get like a line to follow like the border of a property, or like, you know, tilt a camera, 3D camera or something. There's just like all these words. You just like, I have no idea what any of this means, but I need to find it out pretty quickly. A lot of 3D stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like 3D rendering. I've started doing this now, like recently with a contract, and why we use a drone. We survey the land with like a LiDAR scanner. We get a point cloud of the land, and then I'm trying to like create an animation of that, of like a, you know, a fly through of what the thing is going to look like when it's done. But point clouds, they are just points, right? They're not actually a physical thing. And I didn't know what that meant, but I started to like really, really understand in 3D rendering and animation, a point has to be like affixed to a surface or a mesh, and the mesh has to have like a vertice that can be colored in RGB. So Googling that, I was like, I just sat there for a day. I was like, I don't know, why my thing no have color?
Oh,
like, you know, it's like, yeah.
I hate when you don't have the right word that you need to like, because I when you said the line around the property, like you have to use it's the copy. No, it's fuck. It's in After Effects.
See, we're doing well.
Yeah. You've gotta.
There's like CC mocha.
Yeah, mocha. Yeah, mocha. Coffee. I knew it was fucking something. Yeah. You have to take it into mocha.
And why is it called mocha?
You know, like I don't have time to look and research that. You know, but to try and find the right video, and what's always led me down multiple rabbit holes. It's kind of like, oh, I'll learn this, and then I learned that, but then there was something that I didn't understand more. So now it's just this like, and then you kind of look at it and going, man, is this even worth learning? You know, it's like, is this even going to pay me for, you know? But then you kind of like, I don't know if you get stuck into it, but like, I'm just like, when you kind of get down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, I fucking really like learning about how all this all moves and works and functions and whatnot. But it's you can get lost very easily. Yeah.
So I think any sort of like barrier to entry for this line of work is just like evaporated if it's a thought of not having knowledge. If you think like, I don't know anything about cinematography, I don't even know if they do. They probably do. They're probably pretty good.
Yeah. when you watch certain things, there was, I think, a documentary on who's the guy that did Kill Bill? Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And how there's all kind of like different shots, like when you know, they're shooting out of the back of the car, and like it goes, and
he uses that in like every movie.
Yeah, like and I always kind of look at that stuff and I go, you know, it'd be not like when you watch a really cool Netflix documentary and there's different shots of their faces, especially when they've got multiple cameras. Like there was this one where I'd never seen a side profile, so they had the camera on these certain part as well. Also picking the right time to use the right camera.
Yeah,
that always, you know. So it's like those techniques, but I think at the end of the day, it's like you just got to. It's up to you.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of creativity. Somewhat potentially more complicated when you start trying to like make money from it, I suppose, because you are sort of at the behest of your client to make sure they like it too. But what I tell any, particularly with like my digital marketing stuff, what I tell the businesses and clients, like, look, you might not like how this looks, or I might not like how this looks, but it's probably going to work in some way because it's going to work for someone. And marketing, I don't know, I could be very wrong, but the way I look at it, you just like kind of throw it all out there and you see what works, and you don't know why it works, but sometimes it works, you know? So yeah, starting this line of work, just doing it, having a look at different techniques, and then there's definitely some sort of innate need required, because putting the story together, like getting that camera angle at the right time, that does take something in here that's just like intuition or something.
I always wanted to like moving with how I'm shooting things, like bringing that cinema look, like when you watch a Netflix documentary and you're like, wow, that was shot really cool. Like bringing those forms of shooting. One, because it's kind of like, you know, there's some relevancy when someone's watching they're like, oh, it's not like they're seeing something new. So that's like, they can maybe focus more on what's being told. But yeah, you're right. It's like, it's trial and error, and seeing what works and what not. And, you know, if you are right, you are limited to, you know, what your client wants. You know, if they just want to interview, they don't want a Quentin Tarantino fucking shot differently or whatever. But, you know,
that Netflix style, like, it's good, but then they use it on a documentary about baking muffins, and you're like, okay, this is like way too dramatic.
Yeah, you know? 4 cameras. Oh, there's one lady who's created the Grockenbush. The Tower of Terror, you know, it's just you know. But I mean, like, you know, it could look like it looking different. And I don't know, like, if you know, going back and talking, you know, just like bringing a different style and like being 100% authentic, and just like not you know, it's, you're not gonna make everybody happy. And I think that, I don't know how you feel, but like when you put a piece of content out there and someone's like, "Whoa, that wasn't your best work," and in your head you're like, "Fuck, man, I worked really hard on that," you know. And like, I put together something for a client the other day, and one of my buddies, a friend that I networked with on Instagram, and we just keep speaking. He's also a videographer in Melbourne. He was like, "Bro, that's like one of the best pieces of content I've seen in the industry." And I was like, "Man, everybody's just got a completely different outlook on what's right, what's not right."
Yeah, it happens so many times. I'm like, I'm so proud of this, and then people see it and they're like, "Oh," or the other way around. I'm like, "Yeah, it's not that good," and they're like, "This is unbelievable." I'm like, "Really?" Yeah, you kind of don't need to make sense of it sometimes.
No, I think it's just like,
you just got to be true to yourself, because that will be detectable in your output, in what you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that, what do you now that, how long has the business been running for now?
I've been doing it. It's been running for 2 years, but I've put all my energy, like 100% into it for a year now, pretty much.
Yeah. And where's the trajectory? What's the movements now? What are we focusing on? What are we moving towards?
Well, I've been talking about where it's going to move towards for about 6 years. So I'm glad I'm at this point now. But I want to put something together which is everything that I'm about, really. So yeah, travel and music are kind of the two main things, and then creativity. So I've got a documentary series starting next year, and essentially I haven't nailed the elevator pitch for it, so I'm probably going to waffle here, but essentially I want to travel across the world, and I want to film people that are involved with music and learn about why they do what they do, and then relate that to the community that they're in, the country that they're in, the culture that they love. So essentially the best way I can describe it is like, you see a chef, like a famous chef, they go to like India and they learn about the country, they meet with like a few different chefs, they'll cook something up, and they'll go to like the market, they'll go to like the famous tourist attraction, and it's just like a very easy, watchable thing. And you're like, oh, that India looks great, cool food. It's not, you don't need to be a master chef, you've just kind of watched them cook. So I'm essentially doing that, but with music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the underlying, like, why?
Well, why? Well, why not?
No. I know that's, why, of course.
No.
There must be something.
Yeah, no, the why is because the why of the show and the why I'm doing it is probably different, but the why of the show is because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
100%.
Nature is awesome. Music is awesome. People are inherently good, if not troubled sometimes. So I think, yeah, the idea I had was like traveling across the world in one go. I was going to drive from London to Melbourne, which still might happen, but I think geopolitically it's potentially a little bit difficult. So we'll see what happens. But the first episode next year is going from Melbourne to Uluru. So along Melbourne to Uluru, you've got a city with 5.5 million people, and then you've got a desert in the middle of nowhere, and there's quite a lot of in between. So the nature of the show, traveling through the land, meeting, a heavy metal musician here, or a community music group for seniors here, and then a cultural event here, in amongst some cinematic shots of beautiful attractions. I would hope that someone viewing that would be like, wow, this is a very cool country that we're in. These are very cool people. They're doing some pretty special things with music, even if I don't like that genre or whatever. It's pretty cool to hear about these people, talk about it, and not to get too arty-farty, but we're kind of all the same in a way. So that's kind of what I want to show. It's just a cool thing to document in the world, which I think hasn't been documented overly well.
Yeah, nice. How long is like the journey just for this Melbourne to Uluru? But like, what are you looking like? Were you like a week, 2 months? Like, are you planning on reaching out to like the path along the way to find like these bands and network and pitch them this idea that you're like, hey, this is what I want to come and do?
Yeah, so a lot of that's happened already. So it'll take about 4 weeks, I reckon. I've never done like a long form documentary like that, so I don't know if I'm going to need more time, but 4 weeks seems about right. But yeah, I've been talking with a few people. So like, I'll be going to the Adelaide Fringe Festival, which is like second largest fringe festival in the world.
What is a fringe festival?
Fringe is like, I don't know why it's called Fringe, but it's just essentially what they do is they have like a pop-up area, which is now the whole city, and they have little shows. So like comedians, musicians, like theatre shows, and then it's just a like general event with food and drinks, and it's like an art. Maybe that's why it's called Fringe. It's like something to do with arts. Fringe, no idea.
The fringe, I'm like, is it like on the edge or
maybe like the fringe of what's. There might be like an element of naughtiness to it. I don't know, maybe originally, but yeah, it's essentially just like a month-long program of arts. Yeah, musicians and comedians and Broadway type shows in little tents in parks and stuff. So that's going to be very cool. The Alice Springs Orchestra are on board. Right?
That's fucking cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So random. Yeah. So that'll be very, very cool just to see what like a random community group that decided to put together an orchestra in the middle of the desert.
Orchestras, is that they've got like multiple instruments?
Yeah. I think there's...
Or are they just singers?
No. Like,
that's a bit quiet.
That would be a choir.
Yeah, sorry, man. I've been out of the music industry for a while.
It's all right, Stuart. So, yes, multiple instruments. There was no further explanation. I didn't need to take a breath to get ready to just explain that. Yeah, just instruments. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And what did you, and how did you, like, how did you go about pitching this? Like, did you just call them up? Did you email them? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, just random email.
Mhm.
And just hope for the best. Some people haven't responded yet. And then part of the plan is to just like rock up, because some, I would imagine it's going to be hard to like, or it's almost unnecessary to like plan an interview or anything like that with some people or some organizations. But yeah, essentially just was like, hey, I'm doing this. I made a little like 1-page PDF thing, few links to like what I've done before, and people love it, because why wouldn't you? It's cool.
Are you wanting to like get funding for it? Is there a way that you're going to, or you're going to showcase this and be like, hey, here's like the pilot.
Yeah.
And you want to take it to.
Yeah. So it's almost a pilot. There's a pilot that I'm doing in this November and December in just one of the regions of Victoria. So like, yeah, similar idea. But yeah, then the pilot, I've got 2 other episodes in Australia, but I've made episodes for all across the world. So I think I would like to pitch it, but you do sort of have to do stuff yourself and just back yourself in sometimes. So this is not dependent on like funding, because I'll just make it work somehow.
Yeah.
You know? And then I will certainly share it as far as I can and spread the story and hope people get invested in it, like financially as well, you know. But if not, well, whatever, who cares? We'll just make it work somehow, you know.
Would you take it? Is it like a HBO or is it a Netflix things? Like I've never honestly ever looked at.
Yeah. I did pitch it to Netflix.
How do you? Okay, so explain me the process of that, because I can't pitch you just like, hey, you know,
well,
Stuart, I've got a really good idea.
Well, I can tell you that it went nowhere. That's all right.
Yeah, okay, but
okay.
Is there an email? Is there a call? Like,
so there.
Online?
How did it actually happen? I think from memory, my mum heard on the radio. No, that was an ABC thing. So there was an ABC thing where there was like a programming director of ABC, and they were like, we need more shows. This is my email address. That was like a couple months ago.
Oh,
but the Netflix one was a very similar thing. It might have been like an article, and it was the Australian like programmer for Netflix, and they were like, we're looking for more shows. But I think it was like just an interview. So then I found her on LinkedIn, and I messaged her on LinkedIn, and I found her email address from like some back article thing. So I emailed her. Yeah.
Nice.
And it went nowhere, but that's okay.
But no harm.
Yeah, no harm. And I think, again, you have to do things. And we're very fortunate. I was saying this to someone else earlier today. We're very fortunate in like the creative space, because it's very easy to get an example, right? Like if you want to start an accounting business, you can't really be like, look at all the accounting I've done.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do yours for free. It's like, okay. Well, I mean, maybe you could be good with a video.
Oh, but what, to sell your skills?
No, like for the accounting dude. Like filming someone accounting. Could be cool. Could not be cool. I'm just trying to stop that one there. Dead in the water, that one.
No, because this is a good example of how to creatively come up with showcasing something that is typically boring. You know?
It's pretty boring.
I know.
It would be.
Yeah, I can. Well, let's pin that. You know, I should have like a weird pin board. You know, like ideas for that.
Put in the maybe pile.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Yeah, no, anyway, so I would definitely pitch it to, Screen Australia is a big one. I pitched it to Screen Australia, and that was like a very comprehensive process. And I do know a cinematographer my uncle, and he said that like you probably won't get anything because they don't know who you are. Which sort of cooled the water a little bit on like the pitching and sponsorship kind of arrangement. There's only so much money to go around, but if you do something and you have an example of it, I think you're far more likely to get people's attention, rather than writing about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the philosophy I'm taking. See where it goes.
Yeah, like the little documentaries that I've always, and I started making one when I was living in Hoi An, and
you live in Hoi An?
Yeah, in Hoi An.
Is that where you?
That's where the most.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, most beautiful place.
Yeah,
My favorite place.
the lanterns in Hoi An. Why are they there? I thought they were like culturally significant, but then it seemed like they weren't.
Just Old Town, because it's the old capital. No, Hui's the old capital. Hoi An is, because it's all heritage listed, so you can't. That's why it's all. It's all flat.
But the actual like act of lighting a lantern.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever saw. Are you talking about the ones where you light and they fly away?
no, they put it in the river. Isn't that what like Hoi An's famous for?
I would say Hoi An's famous because it's you get all your tailored stuff there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the lanterns. I don't know about the lanterns. Sorry,
it's okay.
I know that we went in. Nah.
Yeah, we were in Supper going on this trek, and there was all this like beautiful designed like bags and like silk and cloth, and it was like magical designs. And we asked the person leading us, I was like, well, what's the like significance of this? Like, how long has this been in like your culture? And she's like, no, it's just for tourists. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. Sometimes it's
But well played, because it looked historically relevant.
yeah. If you could say anything.
Yeah, I would have. Well, I did buy one, but whatever.
There's a lot of things that, like I'd ask my boss, or I'd ask like Long. I'd be like, what's the significance of this? And he'd be like, nothing. Like, one of the things that the Vietnamese taught me is that like they just live for the day. Yeah. Like I always talk about Long taught me this one. He was like, every time I left a party, I'd be like, I'd go around and shake everybody's hands, and I'd be like, and they'd always ask Long, be like, bro, where the fuck's Michael going? And he's like, oh, he's going home, because they thought that like I was never coming back. And so many times Long would just like, he'd just leave, yeah. And all my mates were Vietnamese. Like I didn't have expat friends for a while.
Yeah.
So when I was at the party, like we'd be out, and then sometimes I'd just find myself by myself, because like they all just left, and I'd just be like, bro, where'd you go? And he's like, I went home. And I'm like, why did you say anything? So like the Vietnamese, and also like when another thing they taught me was I always talked about Long with like talking about like the future and what I got planned, and he was like, man, you're always like living in the future, like you're always like living, whereas a lot of people just live here for the day. Like it's like all they're concerned about is what is on that day. That's all that's important to them.
That's very cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I really took like that to,
and handy.
yeah,
The time saver.
so you don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
I wish I could take more of that in to my day-to-day life now.
Well, we are. I think Australians are a bit like that. We like to create problems a lot, and there are problems, of course. But, geez, it's pretty good. Life is pretty good.
Yes, in comparison to a lot of what else is going out there.
Yeah.
What's going on, and like what I was exposed to. It's like we don't really have anything to complain about.
So I think if you're I am no expert. I don't feel qualified at all to talk about any of this. But if you are, I'll go straight into it though. But if you are, whatever, it's my time. If you,
That's the start of the video. That is the start of the video. Love it.
if you're thinking about doing this and like taking a big leap and whatever, the consequences are very, very low, if not nothing at all. Like, what's going to happen? All right, you spent a bit of money on a camera. you invested a bit of time in learning about something and then you found out it wasn't for you. Big deal. Who cares? It's very, very low risk.
And if you do give it a proper crack, like the outlet for this, and not only that, like I think it's more important that people are learning about this now, considering where we're moving towards in the future. You know, it's like VR, fucking, you know, all these dystopian movies that we've seen where everybody's living in some virtual reality. It's like in our existence, our lifetime, that's going to happen. And for our skill set and how where we are in the market, it's like we're safeguarding ourselves for having a job in the future.
Yeah. So are accountants, but they're not as cool.
Everybody's fucking crunch numbers. Oh man. The documentaries that I really wanted to make when I was in Vietnam was like the people of Hoi An, because of the similar what you had with the musicians, and traveling along with like the reflection of what they, you know, what the input is into the community around them. And I think that's going to be really cool, considering going from Melbourne to then all of these like remote places and like talking with these like, you know, heavy metal band, like the orchestra, you know, just kind of like, how did you guys all get together? Is there literally nothing else around here to do? So that you created something to, you know, be around, you know, you could hang around everybody with?
This mini pilot that I'm doing is in the southwest corner of Victoria, and the main town is Portland. And Portland has this group, I'll get the name wrong, but it's like the Portland Community Advocate Group for Music Participation, or something like that. And they have a ukulele group. And when you try to think about it too hard, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why? But it's like it's so pure, so lovely. It's just a group of people who are like, yeah, let's play some ukulele once every 2 weeks. And it's not even about the ukulele. It's just that, like, you know, you're talking to someone else and you're learning about them, and it turns out they also like to run, and then you go running, and it just makes where you live a bit better, it makes your life a little bit better. And so that's what I really want to try and show, not the like musical. And now, like, I'm not going to ask a thing like, what's your chord progression on the ukulele, the song you play? You know, it's like, this is cool. Tell me about
how did this all bring together?
This group. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's like a really special thing to showcase.
Shit, I better do it now. I've been talking about.
Well, now it's cheers. Yeah. People are going to be literally at the on the other end of this going, hey, Ben.
Yeah. It's also trademarked.
How do you trademark that?
I don't know, but it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll cut that bit out. So let's wind it up. You've got this to look forward to. One thing that I'd like is that if talking to what you said before, people taking the leap, like going out and doing it. But if you look down the barrel and you just talk to those individuals out there that were this one there, actually no, that one there, that's got a better. That's yeah. And I think that we were all in a position where, you know, you're right. Like, what's the most, like the expenses, you know, your time, but so you're gonna come away with somewhat of a skill. But if you could talk to your younger self, or, you know, other individuals out there that are worried that they're not going to make it, or if they're scared to give it a chance, what would you say to them?
There's nothing better than life itself. Life is great and amazing, but it also is almost irrelevant as well. It's the only thing that we have, but what you do doesn't really make much of a difference, or it does. It's confusing. So either way, just go and do something. Why not? Who cares? If it works, that's great. It will work because you are amazing. That was awful.
That was fine. That was exactly how you needed it. You do you.
Yeah. What a business name. You do you.
Just go out and
Don't be scared. Don't be scared of anything. Don't be scared of a videographer snob who looks down on you. Don't be scared of a potential competitor. Don't be scared of talking to a client. You're fantastic. You'll be able to work it out. You can definitely do it. Give it a go. Do not stop for any reason. Just keep doing it, and you'll be true to yourself, and that will bring you all sorts of joy.
That was beautiful. That was really nice. Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you being and coming on. Great to chat with you.
Cheers, Bill.
Yeah, that was fun.